On April 2nd, $122 billion hit the table to fund a new generation of artificial intelligence. It happened on the exact same day that the world's most vital physical supply chains caught fire. In the Strait of Hormuz, U.S. and Israeli forces targeted two piers directly. The strikes represent an escalation at a maritime choke point responsible for a massive portion of the world's energy transit. The response from Washington was a national address framing the chaos as a conclusion. Officials declared that core strategic objectives in Iran were nearing completion, projecting the image of a managed endgame. The physical reality on the ground immediately complicated that narrative. Iran and Hezbollah launched a coordinated double strike on central Israel, damaging the water network in Bnei Brak and sending debris into the streets of Tel Aviv and Ramat Gan. Kinetic military operations attempt to secure trade routes and resources through force, but the act of fighting often dismantles the exact physical infrastructure and logistics those operations are intended to protect. This chart shows the immediate shockwave in the commodity sector. In hours, crude oil prices jumped 6% as markets reacted to the sudden threat of a supply constriction. That energy shock instantly impacted regions reliant on imported fuel. Asian indices absorbed the blow, with Tokyo's Nikkei 225 dropping 2.4% and South Korea's Kospi plunging 4.5% as investors pulled back. The threat of systemic instability forced an institutional response. The IMF, World Bank, and International Energy Agency established a joint crisis group to coordinate a response to the economic fallout. We are watching the economy of scarcity struggle against its own limitations. Traditional geopolitical conflicts are rapidly draining the world's physical resources and commodity markets. While physical markets reacted to the risk of war, a different reality played out in the technology sector. OpenAI announced a successful capital raise of $122 billion. This chart visualizes the scale of that funding. It stands as the largest single capital injection in technology history, specifically raised to cover the compute and development costs of the upcoming GPT 5.5 model. To see the leverage at play, compare that single corporate war chest to the gross domestic products of the sovereign nations currently exhausting their capital on the front lines in the Middle East. While the street offers only high-risk friction and contested geography, this $122 billion round demonstrates where investors see a path of deployment. On this day, capital sought the programmable liquidity of silicon over the volatile instability of the physical coast. That capital requires physical digital infrastructure to function. Huawei launched the 950 PR today, a chip engineered for the high-speed processing required for AI deployment. This visual maps the market validation. Despite fracturing global supply chains, Chinese conglomerates like ByteDance and Alibaba immediately placed large-scale orders for this specific silicon. This order flow signals a shift in focus. The AI ecosystem is moving away from purely experimental model training and moving heavily toward large-scale commercial inference and deployment. As state powers fight over physical geography, technology companies are building a separate infrastructure, one that operates under a different set of rules than traditional maritime choke points. April 2nd forced two simultaneous endgames onto the same timeline. They occupy the exact same date on the calendar, but represent two radically different ways of looking at the future. One endgame requires nations to spend their finite resources and capital to secure physical shipping lanes through force. The other endgame involves pooling billions of dollars into server farms to achieve advanced AI agency and cognitive dominance. These two environments are detached in function, yet they both draw from the same ultimate pool of human energy and financial leverage. The physical world is proving difficult to map and even harder to stabilize. This friction is driving the world's deepest investments toward a virtual space that can be precisely programmed and controlled. We are looking at a divergence in how wealth is being deployed. One economy uses its capital to dismantle existing physical infrastructure. The other uses it to assemble a new tier of synthetic intelligence. As national economies absorb fuel-driven inflation and falling market indices, the concentration of $122 billion into a single private entity provides a different kind of geopolitical weight. The entities controlling this intelligence are amassing the financial leverage to influence the eventual recovery of the physical systems currently in crisis. A single $122 billion funding round is a massive concentration of resources. Amidst burning choke points and surging energy costs, this capital represents an attempt to build a functional exit strategy from a global system that has become increasingly unmappable.